Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, and perhaps even good evening. Thank you so much for dropping by another exciting session of the 3D Shenanigans. Very good to see you, everyone. Welcome, Barakas. Good to see you. Mr. Brian, thank you so much for being a subscriber to this channel for 39 months. That's crazy. Callie is here. Nancy is here. Even my bot is here. The 3D Shenanigans themselves. Very cool. Leo is here. How's it going, buddy? And is that everyone? I think that's everyone I can see in the chat. Wonderful to see you. I have planned a little bit of an animation experiment today because there's always stuff that animation just takes an awful long time, and there's a lot of stuff that you have to figure out and try out and see if it actually works. And today I felt in the mood to experiment a little bit. So there's one new feature that's come out in Reolution software package, which has to do with the motion director, and a newfangled update that makes, I think, sending crowd animations from iClone easier to Unreal Engine. That's one thing that I want to try out. It's a new feature that I haven't tested yet. Apparently we have multi-threading now, so not just one character or one animation at a time goes over, it's multiple. And they can also be added, I believe, to the sequencer immediately. So rather than sending over an animation, you have to go and find it and put it on the sequencer yourself. I think if you send over like 5 characters, it goes and positions them onto the sequencer right away. So that's kind of cool. I'm thinking that's something we should have a look at. But then of course there's also this newfangled heat thing that has appeared on the market. Heat is a bit like ActorCore, if you're familiar with that. It's an animation provider that has a lot of animations for a monthly subscription fee, and then you can go and export one of them out and use them in an application of your choice, like Unity, Unreal Engine, or Blender. And also new as of yesterday, Daz Studio. So could be exciting. I've only just signed up for the service. I have no idea if or how it's going to work, but I thought maybe we're going to go and see if we can make it work together. What do you think? Is that a cool idea? I think we should go and do that. And I think we should also maybe go and put a little bit of, music together, or should we leave it with the music today? I don't know. Should we try the music? Let's try the music. Let's try the music. Let's give me a second here. That is that's good. Is that good? That could be good. So this could be good. Maybe we'll do this, and then we do that. Does that work? Who knows? Does it work? Oh yeah, works for me. I can hear something in the background. It's very, very nice and chilled out. So, let's see if it's something we, want to do together. What could possibly go wrong, Brian? Exactly. So let me go and show you the heat thing first, because maybe that is something we can work out together. So heat.tech is the thing that we're going to have a look at. And this is actually the sales page on the Daz store. Feel free to watch that video. So it's daz3d.com/heat-animation-plugin-for-daz-studio-win. That is a memorable URL. That supports Genesis 8 and 9 apparently, made by Heat, and it's free. So this is just a plugin that we need. You need to buy it and then install it into Daz Studio before we launch it. And then on top of that, it's a bit of a video that tells you how to use it. More importantly though, you need to sign up with the Heat service. And I think this is the Heat bridge here. It's the heat.tech /downloads. Let me just go and do that from here. Heat.tech downloads. There we go. So one of these bridges we need to download if we wanted to use this for Unreal Engine or for Blender or even Daz Studio. So this is what we need. Haven't downloaded that yet. Got to do that. More importantly, you got to sign up for the service, and you have an offer here that says claim here. If you open that, you get this Daz 3D discount code that when you apply it, you get the mover plan, which is usually $25, and we get it for free for 2 months. So I have literally just done that, and I'm a member now, and we'll see how it goes. The animations themselves, I believe you can see on the Explore Movements page here. Apparently you can also upload your own movements for that. So if you go and hover over any of these, then you see these things, working. Interesting. So this all reminds me very much of ActorCore by Reolution. I have to say, this is exactly what ActorCore is and does. And the only difference is that the animations on ActorCore are also available as packs. And they're available for a one-off purchase rather than a subscription, if I understand this correctly. But once you get them from there, they'll be compatible with all the Reolution figures that you use. So that's on ActorCore. Whereas this one, I think it's a similar system. We'll see if we can download a few of them. Let's go and install this first and see if it actually works. Ascania, how's it going? Everything. Yes, let's do that. Let's make it happen. So first of all, some updates here for Van Helsing and Mira and all kinds of other things. Default resources. I should install that maybe. That's a good idea. Let's keep that up to date. Publishing partner features. Well, why don't we do that as well? Cool. So I think that this is the one here. Heat animation plugin for Daz Studio Win. So I suppose let's go and add that to the queue. Step number 1 done. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. So that's that. Is it installed? Is it heat animation plugin? Perfect. So then inside of Daz Studio, I would imagine this is done. I'm using the release version of Daz Studio, so 4.22, the one that's just recently been updated with the new hair shader. Interesting stuff, which I also haven't tried out yet. Property hierarchy, I'm going to go and close that. Purple simulations, cool. I'm going to go and leave all that open. And this here in the middle, I think, hello, we can not quite close down. Why not? I thought we could at one point. It doesn't work anymore. Okay, good. That's a good start, isn't it? Let's go and drag that all the way down. So heat plugin. That's a pain, isn't it? Let's go and right click, add paint, heat animations. There we go. Haha, that's cool. And we're seeing heat bridge not connected. Oh, download the heat bridge first. Let's go put some heat in my Daz Studio. Nancy, how's it going? Oh, great. This gets us to this page here, which we've already looked at. So I need this. But I think if I wanted to bring this into Unreal Engine later on, I would also need that. So I suppose one of the questions I have in regards to workflow, then, is it possible to use this and then the Daz to Unreal bridge to send that animation over? I would imagine it is. Let's see, heat bridge.zip. And Miss Julia is also here. How's it going, Julia? Good to see you too. Julia and I are having a very, very chillaxed day. We've been watching the new 2 seasons of the X-Files, which is interesting. We've just seen an episode in which there's basically no people. That's just Mulder and Scully, and they start off eating at one of those sushi places, but there's no people there. There's nobody there. There's everyone. The whole restaurant is empty and probably run by computers, which is kind of interesting. And of course, things go wrong. Mulder doesn't give a tip as a result, and then all hell breaks loose. Crazy episode that. Heat bridge installer. Perhaps we'll double click that and see what happens. Brian is the Dragon Slayer. If you haven't seen this already, Brian has 3D printed a massive, what was it again, 70 centimeter long dragon, like an orangey pink dragon with multiple filaments. So very exciting stuff. And it moves. It's very exciting. Qt 6. Ooh, that's advanced. Launch the heat bridge. Let's go do that. Yeah, it's fine. I'm allowing everything. Oh, there, look, that's a new window. That, of course, wants me to sign in. I get you. This is a little bit like the Quixel plugin that we get in Unreal Engine. I'm gonna go and log in with my super crazy secret credentials here. Sorry about that. I cannot show you that, of course. If I could only remember what they were. And that was, I think, is it? Oh yeah, that was it. Great. Now I'm logged in. Fantastic. It is totally gorgeous, isn't it? And it has 5 filaments, 5 different materials. Very, very cool. Look at that. That's exciting. So here we say Blender, Unity, or Daz. Interesting. What we got here? Select it, export to new T69H model, and export to new T69H armature only. And this is export to selected. Let's not worry about that. Let's first of all, heat bridge is connected. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? Let us perhaps start by downloading or bringing in a Genesis 9 figure and seeing if and when and how. You know, we gotta start with the simple things here. See if this works. This would be great. Animation, instant animations inside Daz Studio. Come on. So this here, this new timeline, they've redesigned the timeline. I wonder if that was in preparation for Heat, actually. I do remember distinctly that the graph editor on the bottom here, that had a divider. When we clicked on it, that thing would just go and disappear. That doesn't seem to work anymore, and I don't know why. Is that something we do here? Somehow, view mode, something like that, key graph, monitor parameters pane, we should do that. Key graph, show key graph, no, yes, that's how we do that. That is how we get rid of that. That's quite nice. I've noticed they've made some visual changes in the whole Daz Studio interface recently. Like one of them, if you remember, if you render something in Iray, let me just go and do that and show you that. There used to be a little divider here. That's actually still here. In the latest version of Daz Studio, namely the beta version, this divider to open up this menu that you can continue your render if you want to do that and add additional options, that's going to go away. So this has now turned into a button down here that says show options. So always nice when these little interface changes appear. So eventually I'm just going to let it finish so that you can see the implication of that. I think that window is somewhere behind here. Are you done already? Oh, come on. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere here. There's a little status window. Yeah, this here, that's going to go away and it'll be replaced with a little window with a button down here that you can go and press, and then this tab opens up. But you know, well, there it is. No, that's not it. Where is it? I don't know where it is. Doesn't matter. Just one of those things to be aware of. We don't actually need this render. It's cool. I'm glad I found this. So now with this in here, let's go back to the heat bridge. And let's go grab maybe the one of the first animations that we find here. Crowd applause, V8. That sounds good. What do? I should select Daz maybe. And then what is this? Is this the button? Is this the button? It is actually exactly like ActorCore. We've got that little preview panel over here. How do we do it? Is this share? Do we need to say import? What do you think? Jensen, how's it going, buddy? I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you've learned a lot. This is nice. This is nice. I'm glad to hear it. I'm just experimenting with this. First time I'm trying it. Oh, Daz Studio says it's downloading. Has it done it? It's done it! Look at that! Timeline has been expanded. And the figure now has that animation. Yeah, I think the timeline needs expanding a little bit more. Doesn't it? Because this is probably longer than 60 frames. How long indeed? 630 frames. Let's see if they've all come across. This is probably better with 2 monitors. Let's try that. 630 frames. Yes, look at that. They've all come across. So Genesis 9 lives to applaud. Exactly. I mean, the hands don't exactly look great. There's some kind of weird kink going on in here. And they might need some adjustments as well. That could prove a little bit tricky. because that brings us back to the old problem that the Daz Studio timeline doesn't have all that many options to actually let us adjust animations as such. So what happens if I want to go and get rid of them? I'll go and select all the keyframes. I'd say do not press delete. So important, do not press delete. Yes, Barakas, that is a very hefty price. I've just literally had a discussion with my supporter Forgotten Lectures about that, and he said I'm a little bit unclear of what the commercial use terms for this product for this product is, and that is a good point because where do we have it? On the sign up page that we had, we see that we don't see that anymore. What a shame. But basically there's a free plan, there's a $25 a month plan, and that doesn't allow commercial use, but then there is a $75 a month plan that does allow commercial use. And I would assume that if you do have a commercial project, you wouldn't just buy 1 month of commercial access and then download all the animations and then cancel, because you could technically do that. I would imagine commercial rights are only issued if you have an active commercial use plan for the duration of your commercial product. So if you have something that is for sale and you put an animation in there and that's for sale for like 5 years, I would imagine you'd need to retain that $75 a month plan for 5 years until you decide to retire that product. That is my understanding. But I would also assume that these are just the starter animations that we have right now. So I would imagine that eventually we're going to have a lot more animations. Open door and close behind. Let's try that. Import. And did that do it? Yes, that did do it. So that is pretty slick though, I have to say. Closes door, walks further, has a look around. Probably even more if only it would adjust the duration of the timeline independently. So right now I'm going to have a look manually and say this is 690 frames, and then I have to tell my timeline that this is in fact 690 frames, this whole animation. Let's see what happens if we have another animation after that. If I can just go and park my playhead here and then add another animation to the end of that. Does that also work? So far so good. Let's go and put that there indeed. And let's say I pick another one, just an idle maybe. Idle, standing idle V5. That's good. That's cool. We do that. That is another 690 frames. So quickly doing the math in my head, then 690 plus 690 is 1380 perhaps. Is that right? Let's see. The playhead is not there. My playhead should be sort of here. And then we go and apply that. Import. Thank you, Leo. We came to the same conclusion. I like it. Now, is it going to overwrite my existing animation, or is it going to bolt it onto the end? This is what would happen if I load another animation at the end. How does Heat handle that? Okay, we may have crashed the program. Shouldn't have done that. It's still working on it. Yes, it has it done it? It may have done it. That didn't quite work out. No, it's overwritten what I've had. It's sadly overwritten thing. So in order to do that then, amalgamate two animations, I think we're going to have to go in and save those out. So let me do that. This was not actually 690 frames. This was a lot more frames here. So I'll go and save this out. From here to, where are we? 2004. Let me go and make that a new folder actually here. Put that on my desktop for now. animations, I'll call it. Add that on here, and then I'll go and save this out, namely as a pose preset. Sounds weird, but if I go and do that, then the animation will be saved. So this is going to be idle v5, I say, and it'll be the current animation range, not to the end, because it kind of stops here, which is, what did I just say? 1004. There we go, with Genesis 9 and anything that's attached. Perfect. Compress, yes, fine. Right, so that is that. And then I go and delete everything. I'm thinking. It's a start. I kind of like, for those types of things, it's really difficult to track, isn't it? So that, I really got to say, that's where Reallusion have the upper hand, where you can, from the, let me just go, in case you weren't aware of this, there's a website called ActorCore.reallusion.com, and that looks very, very similar. There we go, I'm logged in, that's exciting. And if you go to, there's actors and there's motions. Actors are essentially pre-made characters, low-res characters that you can get for $30, and some of them even have multiple colors here. There's tons of them. If you want medical staff, you can go and get those, but you can also go and get motions from here. And it's a bit like a paid version of Mixamo, if you will. And they're only like $2 here, $2-3. If you like one, you click on one. It looks almost exactly like it. So you click on one. Wait a second for this thing to download. And this, if I remember correctly, this is the asking price you get for a commercial license. So it's a one-off purchase, and you get to keep those things and use them forever, literally, until you're bored of them, even in multiple projects. So yeah, this is similar concept here that I'm familiar with. And you also preview your characters that way. So this is very, very similar. But what Reallusion don't offer is a subscription model. So sometimes it might be one of those things that some people might say, hey, it's actually easier for me to subscribe to a library of things and then use whatever I need from them as new actions are added. And that isn't it. Let's go back to the heat here and see if we can find something else. This was idle. I'll just go and search the whole catalog here and see what else. Drum kit, unarmed sprint. Let's do that. That's cool. Unarmed sprint plus an idle at the end. How about that? Or an idle followed by an unarmed sprint. Let's try that. So import. I doubt it as well. Yes, I doubt that that's what you're supposed to do. I have a feeling they would like you to keep that as an active plan. Well, let's go save this one out then. This one is 66, so post preset. What was this called again, this motion? It was called unarmed sprint. Unarmed sprint, and we will say 66. Alright, so if I go and apply idle 5 at the end, will my character snap back to the beginning? Mr. Nate is here. Hola, Senor Nate. You would be so proud of Brian. He has actually made a dragon that, not quite in your image, but it's, it's a dragon. So I wonder if that was, if you guys had spoken about this. Look, yeah, it will shift. It will snap the character back. So that, I suppose, this is one of those problems that you're going to have dealing with animations. You're either going to have to do this with Animate now, or you're going to have to go and do this inside Unreal Engine or in your destination animation program. But yeah, that is a shame. Let me go and undo this and see if we can loop the unarmed sprint if I want him to run a little bit longer here. See if we can do that. Unless I've crashed things. Yes, it was awesome. It was a really, really awesome dragon. Took Brian about 2 days to print. I think so, Barakas. I think you can make AniBlocks of all animations. Can I remember how to do it though? Let's see. If I maybe I've there we go. Perfect. Yes, if I load unarmed sprint again, then he probably also snaps back to the beginning, which is also not exactly what we want. Watch applications load with J. Run forward and step back, run forward again. Yeah, yeah. Let me see if we can do that, Barakas. Let's see. So I'm going to undo this so that we have that animation until here, and I'm going to go and make sure the timeline ends now at frame 66. So total is going to be 67, I think. Is it? Yes, perfect. Oh, keyframe not on every frame. Interesting. Interesting to see this. So yes, AniBlocks. This is something I haven't used those in a while. I think it was as simple as right-clicking somewhere down here and say bake to Studio keyframes. I think that, no, sorry, create AniBlock from Studio keyframes. That's it. And we go transform to objects, I think. And most values if you have them. I think we don't, so we can go and leave that as it is. And there we have it. So we still have the keyframes here, but the animate timeline is now in charge of making this guy run. And I think this also means if I go and expand this now, I can go and, whoops, and drag this out so that he has multiple loops. And they are now aligned. So yes, in answer to your question, look, he's still running all the way into the distance. So I suppose, yeah, Animate has that feature. So yeah, bring in animation, turn it to AniBlock, and then line up the AniBlocks with one another. So if we wanted to then go and do this, that he stays in his idle position here for a little bit and then transitions into an AniBlock. Can we do that? Let's see. Run, Forrest, run. We might have to let him cool down first, yes. All right, thank you for being here, Callie. Really appreciate you dropping by. Always good to see you. Genius at work on a Saturday night. Collectively, though, these 3D applications, they need multiple brains, Barakas. Very important. So then another question I have, because I don't quite remember how to do this. How do we save this AniBlock? I think we go and first of all rename it into, what was it? This was unarmed sprint. And I can go and save it, right? Save as new, yes, save as new. We're going to put it into maybe our own folder here. I'll make one that's called heat.tech, in which I'll put that. And I think to bring it back, I should be able to switch it on. Perfect, this is it. This is great. Okay, pop in bin, go back to timeline, go back to first frame of timeline, go get idle 5, save idle 5 as an AniBlock, and then see if we can combine these two. Him being idle, then him starting to run, then him being idle again. Come on! Ein lecker Feierabendbierchen. That sounds good. Which one is it? How many frames? 1005. Perfect. So 1005. This could be big. This could be long, and we don't have to use the whole thing. So the AniBlocks can also be cut down. But since there is a nice little idle motion here, let's go and keep them all. In Animate, right click, create AniBlock from Studio Keyframes. As in transform, as in was in that one. Could take a moment. Oh, there we go. That wasn't too long. That wasn't too long at all. That, let's rename it. This was idle v5. And let's go and save all that as new in heat. I like it. The brand that Conan the Barbarian would drink, Kronbacher. Ooh, I like it. Art, you made it. Wonderful to see you. We're just exploring how to bring animations over from Heat into Daz Studio and how to save them as AniBlocks so that we can use them as non-linear bits and pieces here. So very cool. That's done that. So if we were to go and say he's ready now with his arms sort of down at one point here. So like say here, I'll go and shorten this clip down, and then here I'll go and put this guy in, right? That should be good. And this one then wants to go and let him loop this for 3 times. Does that work? He's idle, then he starts running. Awesome sauce. So then at the end, when he's already no longer even in the, he's running so fast. Let's go and let him run for a couple of iterations here. And then we're going to go and do the, I haven't actually saved that yet, have I? No, I have. This just doesn't automatically update unless you switch over to something else. So then we go and put idle back here. And make that a bit shorter. Like so. That should work, right? We're thinking. So he goes runneth. Well, he's idling, first of all. Idling about. Then he's going to go and run. And then he's going to idle around again. That kind of works, doesn't it? We're animating inside Daz Studio. This is kind of cool, isn't it? How exciting. But yeah, the trick is bring in save as AniBlock, then string AniBlocks together. And AniBlocks, Daltonbeck knows much more about it than I do, but you can go and add subtracks here. So you could have another subtrack that now deals just with arm movement, and then another one that deals with expressions. So those are like unlimited subtracks that you can put in. I think you can rename them as well. I just kind of forgot how to do that. So, oh, there we go. You rename them like that. Perfect. And then you can kind of organize your animations a little better. Nice one. Okay. Well, what else do the Heat folks have here then? In the Heat bridge. Anthony, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that, buddy. Wave over. How about that? Well, that'll be a good end animation, doesn't it? Wave over. Okay, so before we import that, I think we need to go and get our timeline ready here. Let me go and just remove all these things so we can put some others on the timeline. Oh, and also the other thing, just while I'm showing you animate here, what you probably also need is the full version of animate. That's not it. Is that here? I thought I had a shortcut for that here. Yes, there we go. The full version of animate is required to create AniBlocks. You can play AniBlocks with everything. So if you don't have this product, then you can still play AniBlocks that others have made, but to create them you need the full version of animate. Okay, wave over, 612 frames. Sending now. This is kind of cool. I want to see how this works, sending these directly into Blender and into Unreal Engine. That'll be interesting. So this is another in-place animation, and we have it for how many frames? 613. Save as pose preset, wave over, and this now saves the keyframe animation pose, so to say. And once we have that, we need to go and turn that into an AniBlock. Then we rename that. And then we have it as a non-linear thing. And it will appear here, but you just have to switch the directory if you've made a new one. I thought, unless I haven't saved this correctly. Wave over, there we go. Guess I haven't saved that properly. Yeah, there we go, wave over, perfect. Well, so with that, equipped with that knowledge then, let's see if we put the idle thing here at the beginning, let him idle around a bit, then maybe waves to somebody, and these are seconds here, by the way. Waves over. Maybe we'll shorten that movement a little bit. And then we go for the sprint. And we'll repeat that a few times. What does that look like? And then we render it out in iRay. This works. Idle to wave over to unarmed sprint, and boom! It works! Miss Drakenborg, she was a little exhausted. She was here, I think, a couple of weekends ago, and she is, she might be, you know, she might just be exhausted. She might show up later as well. It's true, Leo, it's true. And they are all governed by how the AniBlocks are set up. It's such a shame that the company that made them, that their documentation is sort of no longer available, or is it? It used to be gofigure.com. It might not be available directly anymore. Gofigure.com, was that it? Nah. Go figure animate. It might still be. You might still be able to get on archive.org. There we go. This is the website I was talking about, the Animate 2 user guide. That really explains a lot of things that you can do with this whole user guide here. If you can get yourself a copy of that, you can learn all about these features. So the transition is governed by this. So I think you can go and change that, so you can change the blending of the clips, but I think it's unidirectional. So I think this clip here blends this much into until you reach that, and then this clip is being started 100%. So sometimes you might want bidirectional blending, but I don't think the Animate supports that. But yeah, if you need a longer or shorter blending area, this is the thing that you adjust. Yeah, it's Animate is a good concept, I have to say. You can also change the keyframes inside of something. So we have it easy because we had the keyframes to begin with. So if you find that on the clapping animation, we can try that. Let's try that out. On the clapping animations, you see those hands intersecting, and we don't want that. So there has to be the point where we fix that. So ideally, and with Heap being available to import multiple times, I suppose you could grab the keyframes and then change the keyframes with the graph editor, and then turn it into an AniBlock. But you can also, if you only have the AniBlock, you can also go in here somehow, double click for keyframes. There we go. I think you can go and you can adjust the keyframes. I just have no idea how to do that. This is how you do that. I think this is how you do that. So you pick the bone you need to change, and then you mess with this. So if you find you don't want any Z rotation on any of these bones, you can just go and grab them, and then you can go and adjust them or set them to 0, or make the rotation, change the rotation. It takes a little practice, but like in our case, I think we'd say shoulder, upper arm, forearm, left hand, and then you pick which exact bone that is, and then you go and change that rotation, including here things like finger rotations if we had them. We don't, but you know, if we did, I think that's how you do that. So yeah, it's all possible. Interesting, isn't it? Drakenburg. Oh, you trader! How exciting! The man who changes his name twice a month. I like it. You and art, you have a lot in common about that. Welcome back, trader. How's it going, buddy? I haven't seen you in a while. Do you know L7 Rider? That is a great question. Let's see. It's supposed to work on both. I'm just using Genesis 9 here, but let's just see what happens if we delete our Genesis 9 figure, bring in a Genesis 8 figure, and apply the same animations on the figure. What could possibly go wrong? That is an interesting question. I like it. Genesis 8 male, perhaps. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm glad you're still around. That is too funny, Art. So let's start with the animate side of things. Hover over there. Oh yeah, he's no work, no, he's a bad. But I bet you we can probably just go and bring this in again from heat. So I'm just guessing here that the moment we go and put unarmed sprint into Genesis 8, that's also not going to work. See? Totally not going to work. The direction is correct, but the bone mapping is completely different. So apparently the guys from Heat have sorted that out. So let's go delete the keyframes and go back to here and say wave over G9. Let's just go and import it again. Sending. Receiving. Waiting. Good enough. NFT it. Yeah, see, this is it. So you, as long as you change the keyframes over, Genesis 8 behaves just fine. So they made it work on both. That is quite nice. That is quite nice. Very good question. Very good question. So this is also 1005. So if we go and make that create AniBlock from keyframes like this. And then we do that. Then we need to make sure we rename this and save this as wave over G8. So good point. If you do download stuff, you got to download this for G8 and for G9 separately. Save as new wave over G8. Perfect. I like it. Potentially even in separate folders. So don't be afraid to make new folders here as you make them. They are literally just folders here in your Daz library. Just in case you don't know where they are, it's in users, public documents, and then we have Daz 3D, and then you have, nope, that's not it. Then you have my Daz 3D library, and then you have AniBlocks. And then in AniBlocks, that is equivalent to this top folder here. But if you make other folders in here, then they will automatically show up, like in my case, the heat folder. And I can also go and just move them around, switch them into different folders. This Animate doesn't mind about that. Just film from the neck up. That's perfect. I like it. So wave over. What else did we have? Let me go into delete that on the timeline. That's also going to be deleted. Never press the delete key. It'll delete your figure. It's not actually going to delete the animation. I mean, it will delete the animation as well, but the boxer 120 beats per minute. Sounds good. Casual walk root loop. That sounds good. Let's go do that. Let's do that. Casual walk root loop. Can the camera follow the character? Or are we still in the 19th century? We can make that happen. Art, let us make that happen. Let me show you how to set up a follow camera. Maybe this is actually the perfect opportunity about that. I think all we need now is is an idle animation, so you can stop. So this sounds good, right? This is 192. This is great. Create AniBlock from this. Transition to full level 1000. This is rename. What did we say this was? Casual walk G8. Right. Quickly save as new. I should really make a G8 folder while I'm here. Should I do that? G8 animations, put that into here. Righty, because then we can go and say G8 animations. All right. And then did we have, if I go and, so now that just like we had it before, if we wanted to have the guy walk for longer, we just go and extend this. And then animate is clever enough to understand that the motion needs to be carried on from the previous point. Oh no, what happened here? Now you're walking in one point. You didn't do that. Oh, that's bad. We didn't mean for that to happen. Let's find a different walk animation. Maybe that's what they meant by root, because we need that supplied on the hip, I believe. Let's say walk. See what else we got. Silly walk. I love it. Silly walk is good. Let's go do that. The Jeremy is here. Welcome, sir. How's it going? There, silly walk. Monty Python would be proud. Monty Python would be proud. So I suppose the benefit of saving out my keyframe conversions is that I can just apply them again without having to go back to heat. Silly walk G8, let's call it. And this was 558. Brought to you by the Ministry of Silly Walks. It's so funny. That is so funny, guys. Great minds think alike. Okay, let's try this then. Create AniBlock transforms that. Does that work? Yes, that works. That is good. And then this, if we go and extend that, will that also work? You're going to keep walking over here? Yes, you are. And then if we want to remove that gap there, we can also do that. But that's good. That's good. That's good. So silly walk G8. Silly walk G8. And save into my G8 directory. Okay, good. That is good. I just like one that is just a regular, that isn't a root walk. Maybe this one here. That, let's see. 470 frames, pure magic. And then I'll show you how to make that follow camera, because that's going to come in handy time and time again. Here it is. He walks. So we can blend the casual into this, and then he can blend into the silly walk, and we're going to go and see if we can follow him around. This is 470. $470. Make him walk like a Monty Python character. Create AniBlock with the second option. I don't actually know what the exact difference between the two is, but I've had better results with the second one. But feel free to try the first one as well. There we go. That works. That works. casual walk G8. And now we have 2. Oh, exciting. Have I now overwritten it? I didn't get a warning as such. I've got the silly walk, and I've got the casual walk. Oh, that looks a bit weird, doesn't it? Are we sure we've saved the correct one? Let me just go and resave that as casual walk V2 G8. Just making sure we're looking at the right thing here. Yeah, that looks better than this one here. That's sort of that. What happened here? So V2 is definitely the one that we need to use. And did we say we had an idle? I don't think we did we? Idle, very important. Or did we have that over here? Let's wave over. Wave over. Let me just go and copy that over. Wave over X and put in here. And then casual walk, the first one that did not quite agree with us. So let's go and move that over. Idle. And then we'll make that follow camera. I promise. Standing V3. Standing idle V9. Kneel idle. How about just stand idle? Standing cheering. Also good. Standing V7. Standing V4. I think I'm a fan of standing V4. I like the drawn on face. Very nice. Okay, is Daz Studio ready for this? Yes. This is nice. Do you know, afterwards we should see, once we've made our amazing animation, we should see if we can send it over with the Daz character into Unreal Engine. Play it there. It's the crash test dummies, yes. Idling about in the background, I like it. 552. What was this one called again? Idle. Standing V4. Okay. Standing V4 G8. 552. Okay. Idle. No, that's not it. It was standing. What was it again? Standing V4 G8. Okay, so then I wish this would auto update down here. That'd be good. Yeah, saved it. Why did you not save it? Standing V4. Dang. And then how about that? Yes, here it is. So we stand. Oh no, why did you do that? What happened here? Didn't this work a minute ago? Silly walk works. Why did standing not work? I could have sworn that worked. Huh. Let's try this again then. Standing V4. It's been dazzed 100%, Brian. Right? I mean, this works quite clearly. It could be that the motion is on the root rather than the hip, or vice versa. So it could be that that's something that Animate really doesn't like. There is a script for that though. Nope, that is totally doesn't like that. So yeah, that there's a script by 3 Universe for that lets you switch that before you make that change. Also, why not standing in the middle here? Oh, I'm super scared about you being halfway sunken into the ground here. Well, it looks like we're gonna have to find another idle motion, because I don't think I have that script installed right now. Standing V6 perhaps? Stand attention. That sounds good. That sounds like exactly the motion we need. You've got trouble with Gen 8 to Gen 9. Yeah, that sounds like a problem. My advice is actually to not do it. Use Genesis 8 with Genesis 8 clothing, and use Genesis 9 with Genesis 9 clothing. That is my advice. Let's do that. Stand attention. Stand attention G8. Let's see if that converts into an AniBlock. Let's see if that works. I know that isn't helpful, but that is... Yeah, does this work here? That works. Hey, that is nice. That is nice. Let's go rename. Stand attention G8. Save as new. Stand attention. So we do that, then we go and casual walk. How about it? That should blend. It does, there's a little bit of slippiness here. So maybe we can avoid that by shortening the beginning. And now he starts a little bit better here. And then at the end of this, when he walks, maybe the whole animation, let's go and have him... Well, maybe he can start walking normally, and then we make him silly walk. A silly walk also needs to sort of start here. That's a little bit difficult to see because when you shorten it, the clip just gets shorter, but you don't see by how much you're shortening it. So it's just a little bit of a gamble, I guess. That'll work. And then at the end, we want him to maybe just wave, and then we'll make the camera follow all this way. Wave over at the end. Oh, he sinks into the ground when we do that. Oh, that's bad. Well, we don't want to do that. Let's have him with the standing attention then again. Stand attention here. Oh, no, hang on. You need to go and blend in with this dude. There. Standing attention at the end. Perfect. All right. Don't bind the cobwebs, right? So here's that follow camera thing then. So even if we are still on the animate timeline here, let's go to the end of this 20-second animation, so 1100 frames, and make ourselves... We can make a camera on the last frame here. I think that'll work. you can have something that that glides when we follow the route, or you can have something that if we follow something like the neck, then we have a bit of a camera movement as if it's a handheld camera. So either thing will work. Let's go and try both. So create a new camera first, looking like the viewport like this, and then we want to make sure that's a kind of a 16:9 camera here. And I think all we need to do really is parent the camera to the figure. I think that should be enough to make the character walk. No, that is not enough. Why not? Maybe that is enough. Is it? It's not moving. Why is that? Also, why is it snapping now? I don't understand that at all. Well, we'll set it up manually then. That is unexpected. That is very unexpected. It's because Daz, that's why, Brian. So I'll unparent that camera again, because the last keyframe is actually okay. And now I'll go and go to the first keyframe. And then I'll just frame him up here. That should interpolate. So it could be, it's gonna do funny business now because it's not linear. So let's see if we can make that happen. So select both of these. Nope. Select this and that keyframe. Then we say keyframe interpolation linear. And that should now, doesn't follow the guy either. Oh, it's because, yeah, no, of course, that makes perfect sense because he didn't start walking right away, right? So we're going to have to adjust our keyframes. So I need a second viewport then. Because Daz, yes, that's why. So that we see both of these things here. So he stands until sort of here. So this keyframe here, or all these keyframes, they need to be copied and pasted over here. And then the camera starts following him. And now we need to go and update that at the end again. Like I suppose here he's walking out of frame a little bit, even though I like that. This is nice. Let's set a keyframe here on the camera. And I think then I would like it to come a little closer. To my man. And then maybe if we're really lucky, we can go and animate the camera so that it goes around and shows him from the side or something. So let's go put a keyframe here. This could go horribly wrong. Gotta be brutally honest. Yes, as expected, horribly wrong. That's fine. Let's go and do this the saner way then. This happens sometimes when you use the viewport to animate the camera, or when you use the direct controls here. So delete this guy first here. Hello, delete this first. Yes. In fact, duplicate that. Oh, now you won't be able to see what I'm actually doing because my face is in the way. Let me go and take that away. So the only thing that's going wrong here, and I think I want to move this. It's been dazzed. Hey, not the greatest framing, but you get the picture. So what's going wrong on this frame is literally just one axis. So it's up to us to figure out what axis that is and then go and correct that with the parameters rotation. So we want the Z to move, but we do not want the X to move. So I think X and Y are screwing around, so that's not good. X is freaking out. So let's go and keep X in the same way. So -10. $175. Maybe we'll go and keep it there. So 175. Oh, I see. X was actually okay, right? Was it? This is so bad. Let me go and do this completely manually then. Okay, delete. From here to here, that works. So then here, let's see if that works. Does that work? No, it's still going wrong. Oh, what a shame. There is LIMPLCH. There is, because we're trying this new feature out and seeing if it actually works. So it's not a great idea to do complex things in Daz Studio, because like we can see here, those tools just don't really exist. But for basic stuff, you can get things done. I just had a question. Is there a way to do a follow camera in Daz Studio? And that's what I'm showing here. That's why I'm doing it. Let's say single view. Most of that worked. And we can bring in an animation from heat now, which is kind of cool. Look at that. Follow camera. Woohoo! Matches with the music. Sweet. Right, absolutely, yes. Yes, sometimes it's nice if you want to just do small things, but I think for anything advanced, I would always recommend use a tool with proper adjustment tools. It's nice to get started and to grasp the concept, but for anything serious, yeah, I would recommend. Blender is one tool. I actually recommend iClone, or I also recommend the control rig in Unreal Engine. Those are tools. Blender is great, but it's tricky. It's not very welcoming. So iClone has really solid animation tools. I'm really glad I invested into that. But so there we go. That's what Heat can do for Daz Studio. So now I'm interested to see, can we go and export this animation that we've made here with our character into Unreal Engine? Does that work? Would that be valuable? I think Mick was asking that on my Discord earlier. So now if we have that, let me go and make a folder in here. So test animation is probably a good title for that. And then also, can we apply this to a real character as well? This same animation? Like if we wanted to change him into What, I don't have any other Genesis 8 figures installed on here? That's ludicrous. I think they might just not be mapped here. Let me just go and add that base directory that I use in my other installation of Daz Studio, which I can't remember where that is. Dang. Okay, I'll have to have a look. It's all frames, yes. It's only frames. You can't do it in seconds unless you're in the animate timeline. Then you get an overview of what of the seconds. Like here, if you're here, those are seconds here, regardless of the frame rate. So it's like 20 seconds or 19.5 seconds. But on the regular timeline, no, you only have frames here. So what is my main library then? Browse to folder location. There it is. Good stuff. I did not know Deviant. Welcome, by the way. Top of the morning, sir. I've bought it, but I haven't had a chance to try it yet. It only came out over the weekend. How about you? Did you have a chance to try that? And there we go. Because I've only just installed it, I'm gonna have to go and restart Daz Studio so that those morphs are available in the figure. It is nothing to do with Omniverse. No, I don't think so. Actually, no, hang on. It might do. No, hang on. It might do because it's a shader that I think NVIDIA gave them to play with. And I think NVIDIA developed it for use with Omniverse, I think. So you know, that would make sense why it's called the OmniHair shader. That it could be. I think it's just a working title, as far as I remember. That is so nice of you. Nice of you to say. I'm glad it's helpful. I'm glad it's helpful. I've been so super busy recently. I haven't had a chance to make new content, but I have a lot of stuff that I want to make. So stay tuned. More stuff's coming, as always. You're very welcome, buddy. You're very welcome. Okay, so now, if I go into my figures, I'm sure... What? Have I got no Genesis 8 male content installed here? I guess I don't. It's all 9 now. Look at that. That's crazy. Well, we'll go and use a... This is Genesis 3. That's what I'm remembering from the male characters. No male content. Oh man, that's just... What a shame, dude. What a shame. Let's go use one of the basic, just the basic guy. So replace this with that. Can we do that? Apply that to this? Yes. That is so crazy. I'm glad I'm not alone. Definitely 8 women, yes, but 8 men? I'm embarrassed. Do we have 8 clothing then, at least? Oh yes, the Kwame outfit, that is available for 8 and 9. That's nice. So we're going to put that on my man here. Wait, they make male characters? So funny. There we go. Awesome. Do we have, while we're talking about it, did they have like a African-American skin texture for that? Yes, we do. Oh no, only for 8.1, not for 8.0. Ay, caramba. Okay, fine. That's you're gonna be the character, buddy. That's cool. You're gonna be the character. I'll call him Test Guy Walks. That's misspelled, isn't it? It's supposed to be Test Guy Walks. There. And I think I have an Unreal Engine project that we can use for, well, testing, basically, in which I already have the plugins installed, so I think I can rock and roll that. Let's see if it works. Mr. Chris is here. How you doing, Chris? Wonderful to see you. We're having fun with the heat that's being turned up to bring animations into Daz Studio. It was exclamation mark Chris, but capitalization is important, and putting exclamation marks at the end and the front is of course confusing the bot. Try exclamation mark Chris with a small c and no exclamation mark at the end. And also no other words. That also confuses the bot. Do I have something like Daz something here? Daz test, there we go, Daz test G8. That fits right in the picture. Let's go do that. That's the spirit, Jeremy, that's the spirit. Exclamation mark Chris wins the prize. That's it, that's it. Bah humbug. It's so complicated remembering all these bits and pieces. It looks like we're not going to get to the Reillusion stuff today. I really want to check out the crowds in iClone. There's a new way to transfer them to the Unreal Engine with multi-threads and all. Maybe we're going to do that tomorrow. Chris no Fing L X Cox, exactly, that's it. I'll set that command up right away. Yes, 30 people in the crowd. This is exactly what we need to make with iClone. 30 people in the crowd. Oh, cinematic. That's advanced, isn't it? Let's go back to high. Cinematic is the only way to preview the viewport. Oh, there we go. Camilla is here. Manny is here, and I think Freya is also here. Freya, is that? Yeah, look, she is 8. But oh, she's not male. Duh. Exactly. And did we have an animation? Should we just use this level? No, let's make new level. Let's make new level, basic level. And let's call that Test Guy Walks. Right? Maps. Test Guy Walks. Perhaps. No player start. And it's all nice and bright here, but I think maybe I don't want it to be all that bright. And I'll go and create just a spotlight. Make that a bit taller here. And we can maybe even parent it to the guy. Attenuation. There. Okay. Maybe that works. So it already has the Daz plugin here, so I think all I need to do is file send to Daz to Unreal, test guy walks, skeletal mesh, that sounds great. Fix twist bones, why don't we? No morphs. Oh my god, this is gonna transfer our character. Possibly. We don't do to the UK, I'm afraid. Delivery is only local Miami Beach area, I'm afraid. Also, we've run out and we've closed, so sorry. What a disappointment. Snurlin, how you doing? Have Daz fixed the OOT here yet? Because I'm still having problems with them. Greetings from Norway. I don't know. I think the OOT here, you mean the crashing in Iray, right? That's what you mean? I think that is a problem that, just to let you know why this actually happens, I don't actually know. No, I do know that when a new version of Iray is introduced into Daz Studio, sometimes the OOT here has an issue, and they then try to work around it so that Out of Touch doesn't have to fix 477,000 products on the store, because it is something that the guys who make Iray introduce, that it often doesn't work. But yes, in the latest version, as far as I'm aware, most OOTs should work. Yes, this often gets flagged up in the beta versions of Daz Studio, like the beta. And if you do ever find something like that in a beta, do let the team know. I'm now thinking maybe we should have left the light in, because he's going to walk quite far, doesn't he? What was I thinking? So first of all, this guy, I mean, you know, he's our man. He's here. He's with us. Oh, there's also one other thing I want to change on the spotlight, and that's the soft source radius. There. Now the shadows aren't completely terrible. They're now only terrible. No, they're okay, they're okay. Look at that, bump maps came in, buttons, anything with rigid follow nodes. It's never a good idea to use it anywhere other than Daz Studio. So we'd have to fix those in Blender. But most importantly, how's the animation doing? If I now go and do the same thing, send to, oh, actually the most important thing, first of all, I need to go and bake all this to the studio keyframe, to the studio timeline. Otherwise, all my AniBlocks, they're not going to arrive. So I need to go and say bake to studio keyframes. And we're going to say yes. That's going to take a moment. Okay, that's good to know. That is good to know. Ooh, good to know, Chris. There isn't a Miami in England, no, at the moment. He's still working on it. Yes, that's it. The man has walked. There's thousands of keyframes. This is cool. So let's send that over. File, send to Daz to Unreal. We want to pick animation here. I'll call it test walk. And I want to use the new export. No face bones. And that's it. Right, I'm thinking. That should be fairly fast, especially with new export. Oh, does it? Okay. What is the problem? Sorry, I should have clarified. What is the problem that you're having? Is it a crash the moment you switch over to iRay, or is it something else? And I don't know why that transparency is always causing an issue. I don't know what it's different with OOT hair than other hair. I have no idea. It is beautiful hair though, I have to say. Aha, Duns key. And here we're still importing. Ooh. And there's the test walk. If we open that. Where's my man? He's not here. Oh, preview mesh none, that might explain it. And there isn't one I can select. Ooh, retarget source asset. Test guy walks, that's it. Oh. That's a bit confusing, isn't it? So can I also not put that on him then? Like if I select my man here, use animation asset, and then there's nothing to select. But so the animation itself is empty, and there's also no way to. Could it be? This may have something to do with the skeleton. So it could be that because there was already a skeleton in here, this guy doesn't get it because I didn't pick unique skeletons. Ludicrous. That's what it is. Abort. Let's start with a brand new project just to make absolutely sure that it isn't that. It could well be that. I mean, it was an existing project. Let's start a brand new one. Didn't come through. I'm sure there's a way to retarget or make assign one skeleton as compatible to another. But I just smell a ton of issues with that. When you enter iRay mode, nothing won't render at all. It's like it's frozen or stuck in texture mode. Ah, okay. I get you. Okay. Hang on a minute. Right. That can also happen due to an outdated driver. So especially with newer versions of Daz Studio, they always need the latest version of the then released version of the new NVIDIA driver. So if you ever have that you upgrade Daz Studio and you switch it to iRay and you see nothing, dude, what is it here? I want to create a brand new project. I don't actually want to load anything. How does that not do that then? If I'm saying launch, I don't really want to... I'm looking for the make a new project dialog. Come on, fingers crossed. 20th time lucky. We can do this. Why? I don't get it. No, new project. That's what I'm looking for. New freaking project. Third person. That's what we want. That is a new one. This one thing I really don't like about Daz Studio, about Unreal Engine so much, that it's just a total gamble. What worked on Monday doesn't work on Friday anymore, and you know, in between. GA heat test. How about that? Let's try that. A Freudian slip. Yes, that's what it is. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so it could be, so this gives you an indication of what goes wrong there. If it's been since Daz Studio 4.22 is released, something that worked in 4.21, it's a driver issue. It's definitely a driver issue. If you update your NVIDIA drivers, you should not have that problem anymore. That's what I would think. But if it's only with OOT here, then you know that's not something I understand. I'm gonna go make a new level just like I did before here, like this. This is gonna be our starter level. This can go out. I'm gonna leave everything as it is and save this as... Yes, Jay always gets special versions. Jay doesn't know why. Walk test, we'll call it. And I'll have to close this again, because now from here I'm going to have to go and install that plugin again. Daz Unreal Advanced Settings 5.3, install into heat test. That's it. Perfect. That's the plugin install. Yes, that is true. But also, this brings up another interesting point for Snurlin. Before you upgrade, make sure you save out that installer file from your install manager, just in case you ever wanted to go back to that previous version. If you don't do that, it gets overwritten, and then you... Walk test, there it is. You can't go back. So say you wanted to go back now to 4.21. There's no easy way to do this unless you have that installer file. Okay, let's send over my guy again. Test guy walk skeletal mesh, and we want to fix the twist bones and not use a unique skeleton. We're just going to go send it over as he is. I'm sure you will. Yes, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I hope it's going to work for you. Yeah, latest NVIDIA driver, that's my first, in this case, that's my first diagnosis. And trust me, I've had this time and time again, especially with the beta versions, because they've changed more frequently than the release versions. There might be an update, and after that, nothing works anymore. And it's usually the NVIDIA drivers that cause this issue. I like it. Test guy has arrived, is in the process of arriving. This is good, I think. Can test guy walk in Unreal Engine with something we've cobbled together with AniBlocks and heat animations in Daz Studio? Test guy, check it out. Let me just go and save 82 unsaved assets. 82 assets to bring one guy across. I'm just saying, that's an awful lot of files. Here we go, perfect. So dude is here. Now animation isn't here yet. So let's send it over. We've got the keyframes. File sent to Daz to Unreal. Pick animation. Test walk. New export. That's it. Go test guy, go! Rex Red, how you doing, buddy? Go back in and reselect your graphics card. Oh, and your assets install manager. Oh, interesting, interesting. Kiwi Hawk is here. How's it going? Top of the morning to you, buddy. It's a nice animation day indeed, yes. Let's see, come on. Easy is also here. How's it going? My goodness. Wonderful to see you all. There we go. Test walk animation sequence. This. There's nothing there. Retarget source asset. This is bad, man. Preview mesh and nothing's available. I really don't know why. Good to see you. How interesting. This is so it's the same thing that we just had with the other one. And we have no idea why that is. Huh. So once again, animation asset, there's nothing to select. Dun, 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 dun. Deviant, what are we going to do now? Huh. That has me completely stumped. And this is only happening with heat animations? That can't be. That can't be. Clearly can't be. Try G9. That is a great idea. I think we should. I think that is a very good idea. Because Genesis 8 and Unreal Engine, they've always had a bit of a problem, which is partly the reason why Genesis 9 got the improvements it got, because it plays better with external applications where, let's face it, ideally that's where we want to end up, especially for animations. So let's try this again. I hear you. I hear you. Do we have the other good news is I have a ton of G9 content that we can use. So like he says, not finding any men. Julius is somebody we could use. Merciless, so he's certainly G9. How about Walter? Isn't Walter in here? But Walter, you demand, buddy. Oh, that's A to Z. Let's go recent first. Zola. Yeah, maybe Walter. Walter. Try turning it off and on again. That means we have to make a new quick animation for this, right? Thankfully, we still have some of the G9 AniBlocks, which should work well with Walter. He says. Not being all that sure about that. Hey, Walter, how you doing? So we have idle. Even though idle is sort of not really... Why is idle at the top there. What happened there? That's bad. That's also sort of up here, and wave over there, all somewhere fantasy distance. So this could be me having loused up the height of the character when I converted it into an AniBlock. Let's see, this is something else I'd like to try. So this is now something we could correct with keyframes. So just the Y height, right? So double click for keyframes, and then in here, oops, graph editor, hip Y position. There's nothing here. There is something here. Yes, there is. Look at that. Hip Y position. So if we select all of these, and then it's going to drag them down. I think there's even something you can set them to 0. It's sort of what we want, isn't it? Ha! Just fixed an AniBlock. My God, we're on fire today. How do we get out of this? Double click again. Yes, perfect. So now we have Walter idling at the correct height. And now we need to do that with the second AniBlock as well. So maybe idling for a few seconds here until we put his arms down again. We go and put this to here. And then we do the unarmed sprint. Yeah, let's do that. Unarmed sprint goes here. And same thing, double clicking for the keyframes. Graph editor. Take all this, pop all this to 0. That means Walter is a little, still not walking on the ground, is he? Oops. Walter, come back here, buddy. Okay, so he's going to slightly hover over the ground. I'm okay with that. I was going to make him repeat that several times. Naked Walter runs away. And then he's going to go and wave over. How's that? So wave over goes here. And do we have the same problem with him? It's hard to say, isn't it? Yes, certainly have the same problem. Double click for keyframes, graph editor. All these to 0? Yes, much better. And then stop and wave, and maybe stop here. It's fine. 17 seconds ought to be enough. Okay, well, let's see if we can do it. Get off my grass! Exactly. I'll go and save this as a scene before I convert this. Walter walks and waves. Perhaps. He forgot his clothes. Yeah, let's give him some clothes. Poor Walter. What are you doing scaring the kids and stuff? We don't like that at all. Let's do that before we get him walking. Walter had this beautiful Sunday afternoon outfit here, which we can use. The Union suit sweater, also not bad. This one here, lazy Sunday afternoon outfit. That's for you, Walter. No loincloth, no, that's just an illusion. There we go. That's perfect. So all we need to do next then is bake all this to Studio keyframes. Set that to here, bake to Studio keyframes, and fingers crossed. You need to have it lasered. My friend had it done on both eyes, and my mom actually also had it done. She was super relaxed about it. She was, you know, cataract surgery she kind of enjoyed it. I mean, not so much, you know, going in for the first eye, but for the second one. It's way past Walter's bedtime. I agree, yes. Still working on it. It's a lot of keyframes to translate. Yes, the heat plugin is a thing that it installs separately, and I think I still have it open here. This is the heat bridge. So you install that, and then once you have it, you set your target destination down here. For I think Unreal Engine has a separate one that you need to install, but here we can select Blender, Unity, or Daz. And once you have that, you pick an animation from here. You can search for one, and then you hit import, and that works if you have heat installed in Daz Studio, which I have. You can just about see it here. This is the tab that's open. So once installed, you bring up a new tab called Heat Animations, and if you have this bridge running here, then it says that's connected, and then you can ignore it. And then if you have that here, this one here, if you have that up and running, it says this connected here. Then the moment you go and hit import, it'll go and convert this animation over and apply it to the character and apply it to the keyframe timeline here. That's how that works, and it's convenient. So it's very fast, and if you have so G9 animations won't work with G8 and vice versa, but the bridge is clever enough to detect what figure you have, and then it'll go and make that adjustment there. That isn't Walter, is he? No. So let's go and remove you and bring Walter at frame 0 into Unreal Engine. Send to Daz to Unreal. Oh my god. Let's try this. Walter, we're calling him. Fixed twist bones we don't need because that's a Genesis 8 thing. Walter, skeletal mesh. All right, come on. Yes, it was new to me too. It was only released, I think, yesterday. Even though the announcement goes back a few months, it's quite nice to see that available already. And if you go over here to wasn't here. This is where you get the Daz Studio plugin. So that's free. Heat animation for Daz Studio. You install that with Install Manager, and then you get that pane that you can open up. Cool thing is at the bottom here, this is the link to the heat bridge that you need to download. And then also here, this is something you need to create an account with the heat people. And if you do that, you get a choice of 2 months free of the mover plan. So that doesn't cost you anything for 2 months. And then you can try it out with this discount code DAZ3D applied. And I think for the 3rd month, they'll charge you. But for that, yeah, you need to have an account for this to work. Eventually, from what I understand, you'll also be able to upload your own animations. And if you register as a creator, you can sell your own animations through this. So this might not be the final state of heat. They might well introduce something that lets you buy individual animations, much like ActorCore do. But currently they only have these 3 subscriptions. They're free, and the mover plan and the pro plan. The pro plan is the one that allows commercial usage, if I understand this correctly. Yeah, yes, you can. I have made that work. You can totally do that art, absolutely. Each of them have a different skeleton, but yeah, you can do that. You don't have to pick one generation over the other. Also, you should be able to pick multiple characters based on the same skeleton. I'm gonna go pick animation here. Walter walks. A new export is a wee bit faster than the old export. And then you only send over essentially one skeleton, but you then have multiple meshes for that skeleton. So you have one G9 skeleton, one G8 skeleton, and then each skeleton can then take multiple meshes. So that also works, which is and that's an Unreal Engine feature. So that's very helpful if you want to swap out a character or whatnot. Streaming texture, what's it poor? Whatever, dude. There. So okay, Walter walks. See, this is exactly what Deviant and I were saying. Genesis 8, problematic. Genesis 9 just kind of works. Except for he's walking, you know, above the ground, which is weird, but that was my problem for having probably converted the AniBlocks differently. So there we go, Walter. Ding. Get off my land. So we're assuming he's going to walk into this direction here. This is the only one I can pick. That's perfect. Okay, fine. What is it going to? Streaming pool size 5,000. There. Perfect. So that works if I go and make myself a little level sequence. Walter walks, and then I go and track Walter on this, right? And then I can add his animation here. Then, ooh. Then, there he goes. Walter walks above the ground. If we find this foot thing above ground too bad, we can go and chase you, Walter. We can go and do that on the Unreal Engine timeline. Sweet. So that certainly works. Walter walks in the line, yes. Let's just go and fix this. Fix this thing that I think that's okay, but then when he starts walking, we get this issue with the feet above the ground. So if I go and put transform here, and then I'll go and select auto key, anything that's changed. Like here, I really want him to be on the ground. Why does he do that? Why would you not stay on the ground, dude? Also, why do you not acknowledge when I'm saying, oh, auto key, duh, there we go. Gotta switch it on. Gotta switch it on, Jay, you know. Gotta switch it on. Then Unreal Engine auto keys. And why is his second foot in the ground? That's terrible. This is where we just, yeah, this is just, this, I should have fixed this. I should have fixed it before we sent it over. It's actually a good walk for him. It's a good walk for Walter. So let's say up until here, that's height is fine. And then here we need to do a bit of correction again. There. Yeah, it's still pretty wonky with his feet, isn't it? All the joys of animation. The stuff, it just never ends, does it? It's just... And then the days go by, next thing you know, you're 75, you have never done anything in your entire life, but you had a lot of fun. It's just how it goes, isn't it? This is exactly why, exactly. So if we wanted to do the same thing that that Brian was just talking about, what we animators would do then, we'd go and put a camera here, cine camera, and if we wanted to make a follow camera for Walter, we would just go and do that. So from here, transform all the way over to Brian. I've experimented with the prop puppet tool and how you can make incredible over-the-shoulder looking animations with it in iClone. That is pretty cool. If you parent it to the that, and there's poke through on his legs as well. What's going on there? Sorry, Jay's in the zone. I'll be back with you shortly. Rat stuff. So now if we're going to use this, then we don't have a problem with not seeing his feet. Look at that, we've even got depth of field and stuff. That is nice. And we can fix his pants in Blender now if we wanted, or better yet, just hide his body underneath it. That'll work. And then also the depth of field here, I think. We only see this in cinematic, I believe. Yes, Baracus. It's other programs are just so much more modern. It's very true. It's very true. And Daz Studio will get an upgrade at one point to Daz Studio 5. That's been worked on right now. But it won't have any new features as such. So the features are still going to be the same as they are right now, if I understand it correctly. Manual focus from here, we'll retain that here, and then towards the end, like here, we'll make sure we adjust that. Perfect. Here's Walter. Yes, boo, I know, it's a shame, isn't it? And we have another issue with the depth of field about here. You can track this as well. There's an option to just pick an object as well. You don't have to type in manual values here. But I think, you know, for brevity's sake, yeah, works. It works. But boo boo be doo. Yes, I agree with both Baracus and Zero Kelvin. Hey, but this is good. We've proven the proof of concept works. That is quite nice. I think I have to go and mull this over and experiment with this a little bit longer. Let's go do this then. Let's go and call it a day here and go and look into this crowd feature for Reallusion software tomorrow. So that is part of the motion director thing. Where do I even go on this website? I think is it in iClone? Is it here somewhere? Body facial direction, crowd. I'm sure, you know what, if we Google it, I bet we're gonna see how that crowd's in. There we go. this is what I'd like to try out. So they have a thing called the motion director, which is a little bit like what we have in Unreal Engine when it comes to building behavior trees for your automated characters. And what makes this cool is that you can go and send a part of a set from Unreal Engine directly over to iClone and then tell iClone where to put the nav mesh, where to put the characters, what the characters are supposed to do, and then you send just the characters and their motions back and you make the crowds. That is what I'd like to try out. So motion director is a little bit difficult to get into, but that is the plan for tomorrow. Tonight, my friends, Mr. Chris is actually streaming the Saturday Night Social, if I understand that correctly. Let's give the man a big shout out. And sadly, I can't go and transfer you there over to the Twitch. You're gonna have to go there manually. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me this fine Saturday. Julia and I are gonna go and watch some more X-Files, and I hope you had a great time. Have a good one. I hope I'll see you tomorrow from about 5 p.m. onwards. Might be slightly later. I'll see how it goes. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.